Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Hey everybody, welcome to my weekly live chat. I am Mary from Mary's Heirloom Seeds, and this is Heirloom Seed chat number 26. So super excited to share with you lots of awesomeness today. Now, there's one thing that's different today that is I haven't done before. Hey Michelle. Now, YouTube is my weekly live chat on Thursdays. Facebook is my weekly live chat on Wednesdays. However, YouTube has been my steady go-to, and Facebook is newer, and they started deleting my videos. Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. So because Facebook has been removing my videos, I am going to start uploading to Facebook. So this is the first, this is my first video that is on YouTube live that I will be downloading and uploading to YouTube as soon as I'm done. Now, same thing that goes with all of my Facebook live chats. Everything I discussed today in the seed portion of it is going to be in a giveaway. So all of the seed varieties that I share with you are going to be free giveaway to one lucky person. In order to win, you need to comment in the description section below in the comments for Facebook, and then you need to be in the US and not have won in the last couple of months. And there's a couple of things I'll share with you that are not part of the giveaway, and I'll discuss that as well. Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me. Now, the cool thing about Facebook Lives are I can share all of the links for everything that I'm discussing with you while I'm live. I can't do that on YouTube. So it's fun that I can do something different, and we'll go ahead and discuss some of these fun and awesome things while I chat with you. Now, before we get started, I wanted to share with you a couple of updates. The t-shirts are back in stock. The green, this is a Kelly green t-shirt, is now available, or it's back in stock, I should say. And the rust colored shirt, which I wear myself, is now available for customers. So if you're looking for the rust shirt, that is available now. And I have a bunch of other varieties of shirts, different colors. The, what is it? The Cardinal is the color. That will be printed on Friday or Saturday, and it will be available next week. So all kinds of fun and awesome stuff. Erin says I keep forgetting because I'm usually in the garden at this time. So my YouTube lives on Thursday, I usually say, hey, ask your questions, I'm happy to help. And then Facebook is more of like a sharing specific varieties with you, because this whole thing started 26 weeks ago. Christine says, here you are, I was just thinking of you, I need to order garlic. Definitely order your garlic ASAP. We are already sold out of some of the varieties. We are almost sold out of some of the others. And usually we offer this the last week of June as a pre-order, and we're sold out by the end of July. So we're getting close to the end of July, and we're getting close to being sold out. So definitely order it now. Yes, I usually have a couple of extras at the end of the year, at the end of the shipping out the pre-orders, but not a lot. Julie says, did you get the Egyptian walking onions? Those are also a pre-order, and as far as I know right now, I am sold out of what I have available. I might have more available later on, but there is a very small amount of Egyptian walking onions available this year, and I posted it already a couple days ago, and we almost sold out. So what is the first thing I'm going to be including with the giveaway today? And I wanted to share this with you because I've done a video about comparing the different coconut core bricks, and I wanted to share with you today. This is called, on my website, it is a bulk coconut core brick, and these come in a 2-pack. This is a small brick, but it's not the smallest brick that I carry. So just throwing that out there at you, I do carry 3 sizes of coconut core bricks, and I wanted to share a link so that you can see in person what I'm talking about. And again, if you're watching this on Facebook, the replay is available for 30 days. If you're watching it on YouTube, it's a replay, and I will share the links in the description section so that you can see it as well. So this is what's called a bulk brick, and I sell 2 of these for 13 something. The prices are all on the website. But let me share with you a way better deal, and this is not part of the giveaway today, but I wanted to share with you the difference. This is a 10 or 11 pound coconut coir brick. It is like $2 more than 2 of these. 2 of these will give you approximately a 5-gallon bucket full of coconut coir. 1 of these will give you 17 to 20 gallons. That's a huge savings. So this is what's going to go in the giveaway today, which is totally fine. If you have a small area that you're just looking to add a little bit of coconut coir, great, this is a great option. But this one in particular is a much better deal. And yes, you have to pay shipping on these, but it's a fantastic deal on the giant coconut coir bricks. It's massive. It's massive. So I wanted to share with you the comparison, that way you see that. So also with the giveaway today, Tracy says, I love those giant bricks, is a 25-gallon grow bag. So these are a relatively new option. I was currently carrying the 5, 10, and 15 gallons. And so now we have a 25-gallon, which is perfect because I have 3 new greens mixes that would be perfect for any of these grow bags. Greens are perfect for containers. So Dawn says, what do you do with coconut coir? Now, I use the coconut coir in my raised bed mix, in my grow bag mix, in my container mix. I use compost, coconut coir, and perlite in my mixes for my growing literally everything. It is much better than peat. It is more sustainable. It is a healthier option, super easy. Jenny says, when will you be getting Yukon potatoes back in stock? We generally do seed potatoes in winter, and we ship them out in very early spring. So that would be like December, January when they're going to be available again. We only do those once a year because fall is too hot to ship them. They tend to turn to mush. So we generally do those in winter for spring planting and summer harvesting. So now I shared with you earlier today one of the more recent lettuce mixes that I made. I have 3 lettuce mixes that I'm going to share with you today that I literally created in the last 24 hours because it's one of those things where you're like, oh, and I forgot to share the link to the grow bag, so I'll share that with you too. It's one of those things where maybe you want to grow lettuce, but maybe you don't want to buy 4 different packs or 5 different packs of lettuce. Maybe you have a smaller space. Maybe you just want variety and you don't want to, you know, you don't have a giant space, or like me, you just like variety. I grow tons of different varieties. So the first one on my list is going to be Mary's romaine mix. And so like I said, I am sharing the links to all of these while I'm live. My Facebook Lives, I get to share all of the links to all of the different varieties that I discuss here. And I do have a giveaway. So if you're just joining me, welcome. For those of you that join me regularly, welcome back. Please like the video and share the video with your friends. We love to have as many people as possible because we do a giveaway. All of the seed varieties that I'm going to share with you today are going to be given to 1 lucky winner. You need to comment, and you need to be in the US, and you need to have not won in the last couple months. So Nick says, just joined. Were you talking about seed starting mix? Generally for seed starting, I just use the coconut coir. I don't use the compost because my compost is outside and I don't want to include that for my seeds, especially if I'm growing seeds inside. I don't want to introduce like gnats or something. But for my container gardens, for my raised bed gardens, and for my bucket gardens or my grow bag gardens, I use compost, coconut coir, and perlite. And that information is in my comprehensive planting guide that is available at Mary's Heirloom Seeds. So the romaine mix is super fun. I wanted to share something that you guys could maybe try out with lots of variety. And so not only, oh, Tank says, where's your furry sidekick? She is currently curled up on the couch. She has 3 fuzzy blankets on the couch, probably 4 at this point. She's like the princess and the pea. She likes the fuzzy blankets all over the couch, and she's got her little spot. So the romaine mix, if you missed my live chat last week, it was hilarious. For some reason, I brought in a seed combo pack that had a rubber band, and Danny was insane. She was all over everything. She wanted that rubber band. I actually had to put it in a box and separate it away from everything else because she was all up in my business. So what is in the Mary's romaine lettuce mix? There is 5 different varieties in one pack, and different than some of my other varieties, there's 300 seeds in here. And I'll be honest here, there's way more than 300 seeds in this pack because I like to overfill. Kathleen says, thank you for the free Gill's Golden Pippin Acorn Squash. Looking forward to growing it. I love the Gill's Golden Pippin. It gives you a good personal size acorn squash. It's delicious. It was super easy to grow, and I thought, I gotta be able to share this with more people. So Erin says, fleece blankets. Yes, they are the perfect blanket for making biscuits. We call it making biscuits as well. Nick says, do you ever use worm castings in the mix? Yes, I actually do. On occasion, I do use worm castings in my mix. There's going to be some worm castings in my compost that I use, but on occasion, if you have a place to purchase them, the lovely ladies at KNC Worm Farm they use worm castings for their worm tea, but I don't know that they're shipping worm castings anymore, but they are definitely fantastic if you check them out. If you're in New York especially, they would be a great opportunity for you to check out. Cecilia says, I appreciate you overpacking. Yes. So the 5 different varieties of romaine in this one is red romaine, it is freckles, little gem, Cimarron romaine, and Paris Island cause romaine lettuce. All of these are fantastic. Christy says, does anyone have any great tips for keeping the grow bags from flopping if they aren't completely filled to the brim? My recommendation is fill them to the brim. For example, this 25-gallon is only 14 inches tall. So most varieties need 10 to 12 inches of soil for optimal growth. So if it's 14 inches, you really need to fill it to the brim, or at least almost to the brim, for your best possible growth. I wouldn't recommend propping it up with anything. I would recommend filling it. You're better off filling it and giving it a good root space than having it flopping over and having to deal with that. Hey Natasha, hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me. Let's see, Amy says, I have never grown lettuce. When would I need to plant lettuce? Now, all of these varieties are, most of the varieties that I have for you tonight are more of a fall crop. So it really depends on your area and your region. What you're gonna do is, first and foremost, sign up for my emails, because I've got a fall garden planting series going live in an email that will give you a lot of great information about when to plant. I've got one specifically that tells you how to count backwards. So the key to fall planting is find out your first frost date. Your first frost date is your fall frost date, and then you're going to count back however many dates this is to maturity, and then give it a little wiggle room with an actual couple of dates. So for example, romaine lettuce is approximately 60 days. So in my area, it used to be November 12th or November 15th. Cups, they're also available too. These are Mary's Heirloom Seeds, mostly Feral Gardener, which I love. So I found out today that our first frost date has changed because we had 2 earlier frost dates. It's now November 5th. So I'm going to take November 5th and I'm going to count back 60 days for my lettuce. Now some of these varieties can continue to grow after a frost. So you're still going to have a little more time. So you're going to take November 5th, you're going to count back 60 days. So roughly September 5th is going to be when you want to plant your lettuce. It really is going to depend on what you're planting and where you're planting. Molly says, how do we sign up for the emails? Go to marysheirloomseeds.com, scroll all the way to the bottom, and there's a little box and it says newsletter. Enter your email and enter the, I think it's subscribe, something like that. And we don't sell your information. It's only for Mary's Heirloom Seeds, so definitely check that out. Anna says, do you recommend cutting the whole romaine lettuce, or do you just cut the outside leaves as it grows? I prefer my romaine, generally, I will cut the whole thing at the base. Sometimes, and I will say this, the Freckles romaine was really good to harvest the outer and just keep it going. It really depends on what your needs are for right now and what you want. So the next one on my list, and like I said, this is going to be going on YouTube because Facebook has been deleting some of my live videos. So this is the number 26 in my live chats on Facebook, and this will be number 1 on my Facebook or YouTube. Joan says, do you have a pamphlet on frost dates? Yes and no. I do have information on, so every year on YouTube I go through this process of first frost dates, last first frost dates. Your first frost date is your fall frost date. Your last frost date is your spring frost date. And yes, you can extend your frost dates with row covers or frost covers, absolutely. And some of these that I'm going to discuss, like carrots and broccoli and cabbage and kale, those can tolerate some of the frost that you might get. They might not tolerate heavy snow, but they will tolerate frost. So you want to use, what I personally use is the Old Farmer's Almanac. I enter my zip code and boom, there you go. Your frost dates are an average over the last 10 years. It's not a for sure thing, it's just an estimate. And then what I do is I look at my actual forecast during that time. So one year, my last frost date was March 15th, but I was able to plant mid-February because I didn't see any frost in the forecast. And it was great. I gambled and I won. So you don't always do that. And sometimes, like my last frost date, or I should say my first frost date was November 15th, a couple years ago, and we had a frost on October 31st. So every year is going to be different. Just watch the weather and watch what's going on so you can figure out what works for you. All right, so let me get started on the next one. And this is a really fun one. So someone asked about cutting the romaine versus just harvesting the whole head. And Mary's leaf lettuce mix is a fantastic option for that. So with Mary's leaf lettuce mix, you don't have to harvest the whole thing. You can just harvest the outer leaves, and that's a really good option for you. Ingus's local extension office has guides too with frost dates, yes, and that's definitely a possibility as well. We have local extension offices here that have a full like North Texas guide or an East Texas guide. Yes, Nick, Old Farmer's Almanac is online. You can literally just search Old Farmer's Almanac frost dates, and it will take you right to their website. You can enter in your zip code specific to your area because there's microclimates within your city, within your county, within your state. And so I don't use zones. I never use zones. It's much easier to figure out your region than it is your zone, because I'm telling you right now, I've grown in different zones that are very similar. Zone 8, Zone 9. Zone 9 California is completely different than Zone 9 Texas. Zone 10 California is completely different than Zone 10, Zone 10 Florida. Sorry, because I've grown in 3 different states: Florida, California, Texas. And I lived in South Florida, and it was completely different compared to all the other places that I've lived. Literally, the growing season was almost backwards. And so you really want to look at your region, not your zone, specifically for annuals. And I've said this a bunch of times, and I know it might annoy some people that I say it all the time, but if you are growing annuals versus perennials. We're talking about vegetables like squash, pumpkins, cabbage, cauliflower. You want to know what your frost dates are, not your zone, because zones are fantastic for things like perennials and fruit trees. Other than that, you really want to look at your frost date specific. Let's see, Natasha says zone shift 2. I'm right on the line of 7 and 8. And that's the thing, and every year is going to be different. So that's why I like looking at frost dates, because you have an average over the last 10 years. It might be more accurate. So hopefully this gives you some information. Hopefully that you can navigate your growing. Anyway, so next one on my mix. So I have 3 mixes that I just created that I wanted to share with you. So these are super fun. So this one, I hope you don't mind my ranting about frost dates versus zones. Alrighty, so this one is the Butterhead mix. This one I love. Alright, so the leaf lettuce mix was fun because you've got reds and greens, and you can harvest just the leaves, totally fine. Now the Butterhead lettuce is another one that I generally harvest the whole head because some of these are super fun. And I'll tell you why. So the Tom Thumb lettuce that's included in this one is the perfect for a personal salad. It's a teeny little ball of greenery that you can pull up the whole thing, you can trim it and leave the roots, totally fine, whatever you like, and it is perfect for a personal salad. You can use the leaves for wraps, but really I just love to eat it. Amanda says, I wish I wish lettuce tasted like butter. Oh, Amanda, I have something that you might enjoy, so I'm going to go with that in just a second. So the Mary's Butterhead lettuce mix is Tom Thumb lettuce, bronze mignonette, butter crunch lettuce, white Boston Butterhead, and summer bib. These are beautiful. Erin says, love garden ranting. Well, hey Colette, thanks for joining us as well. So these are mixes. These 3 are mixes that I just created this week. They're perfect for fall gardening. And I do have a fall discount code. So this ends the last day of July 2025. So if you're watching the replay, prep for fall, not the number 4, it's FOR, prep for fall, all one word, all caps, no spaces. You're going to use that in the box marked discount code or gift card at checkout, and that's going to save you 20% on all of my fall seed collection. But it ends July 31st, 2025. So get on that right now if you are looking for fall varieties. If you're commenting here, you are entered to win the giveaway of all the seeds that I'm sharing with you, but if you don't win, you can still win by getting some great deals on fall seeds. Now the next one on my list is not specifically a fall variety, but it's one that I am loving right now. It is currently 96 degrees outside. It is probably 105 with the heat index, and Boston pickling cucumber is thriving, surviving, and producing. I love this variety. My friend asked me today, she said, well, what do you do with it besides pickling? And I said, well, I'm actually not pickling this variety. I'm eating it literally every day. Probably twice a day, I am taking a Boston pickling cucumber, I'm slicing it and eating it raw, right out of the refrigerator. I harvest it from the garden. I put it in the refrigerator because I really like cool cucumbers, cool as a cucumber, and they're fantastic. Natasha, I saw you post that. Hotter than the devil's armpit. So yes, you're going to try a fall garden for the first time. Oh, I love to hear that. So gardening in fall is way more pleasurable than gardening in the summertime, but it does come with its ups and downs. So enjoy it. I hope you like it. One of my favorite pickles. Sorry, I'm reading the comments as you talk about this. Cucumber beetles are taking all of yours out. I have not had that issue this year, thankfully. I did have it last year. So if you're looking for a more pest tolerant variety, I would go with Armenian or suyo long. They're a lot more heat tolerant and they are a little more pest tolerant. So Boston Pickling is on my list today. I've shared the link. So the cool thing about my YouTube videos are you can watch them at any time. You can watch the replay at any time. But the cool thing about my Facebook videos is I can post the links while I discuss it with you. So that way you can go back and you can check it out. So this is number 26 in my Facebook Lives. And this is the very first video I'm going to download and upload to YouTube tonight. So fingers crossed, everything goes well. Inga, my double yield, we're going pretty well too. It's pretty good. Allison says, every time I post a pic of my salad for my garden, people comment that the lettuce looks so much better than the store-bought lettuce. Store-bought lettuce tastes bland. There's really no flavor to it. So growing your own lettuce is definitely fantastic. You can walk outside, harvest what you need for dinner, and not only is it more delicious because it's more flavorful, but it's more nutritious. From what I have understood, when you start to harvest your crops, and so stuff that you buy in the grocery store might be a couple days or a couple weeks old, you start to lose some of the viability, some of the nutrient value in it. So growing it and taking it in your house, just eating it right then is potentially more beneficial for you. Let's see. Natasha says, tastes like sadness. So if you're having issues with pests in your garden, I highly recommend that you check out my comprehensive planting guide. And that is a companion planting guide. It shows you what to plant around certain varieties that might help you deter pests and also help you bring in beneficials for your garden. So definitely check out the comprehensive planting guide. I will try and share that with you right now, since I have you here captured. All right, so in the comments, I'm going to share a link to the comprehensive planting guide. When I go live on YouTube, it's in the description section of literally every single video that I publish. That way you can see all the information. So now you have it. Same with arugula. Yeah, the arugula, actually, that's funny you say that. I only ever had one complaint about the lettuce varieties that I sell, and it was because the lady said, the person, I forget, said that it was too peppery, because most likely because what they were used to buying in the store was more bland, and what they grew in their garden was more full flavored. So yes, it was definitely more peppery, but that's what arugula is supposed to taste like. So it takes some getting used to when you're eating fresh from your garden versus store-bought that, as Natasha says, tastes like sadness. Alrighty, so one thing you can grow right now in this crazy heat is zinnias. This one is California Giant Zinnia. It's a very old variety. It is a large variety, not just the actual plant, but actual flower as well is larger than some of the other varieties that I've shared with you. So this is a really good one. And for those of you that missed it, everything that I discussed during my live video is included in my giveaway tonight, including a coconut core brick and a 25-gallon grow bag. I'm not going to open it up because if you missed my Facebook post that I made of it, I literally sat in this thing. So the 25-gallon grow bag is pretty large because I was able to sit in it, not quite comfortably, but I was squished inside of it. So all of these varieties, all the seeds, you just need to comment be live and be in the US and not have won recently. Colette, one of the cool things about zinnias in particular is you can plant them anywhere. It doesn't have to be in your garden. It can be in, if you have a front swale, if you have a front patch of something, anything. I generally just take the seeds and scatter in an area that isn't going to be mowed over by someone. And they're fairly prolific. They will pretty much grow and thrive in being neglected. So definitely check out zinnias. If you have a spot that isn't even in use and it's not a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not a perfect garden spot, like it's not good for vegetables necessarily, throw some zinnia seeds out there. You don't have to make it anything special. Just toss some seeds out there, sprinkle some water on it, and they're good to go. And they're, like I said, they're generally fairly easy. All right, so next on my list is something a little different. This is Nero de Toscana cabbage. You know what this also is? This is also lacinato kale. So there are a couple things on my website that you will see will say that it's Nero de Toscana kale, but it's also called lacinato kale. It's also called dino kale, but you're only going to see it listed as lacinato kale or Nero de Toscana cabbage on my website. There's a couple of things that you'll see on my website that have a couple things that will have multiple names. Colette says if I could take out my ivy, I might have some space. So if you want, throw the seeds with your ivy and they might grow up within your ivy. So that might be a possibility for you. You don't even have to pull out your ivy, you just toss some seeds in there with them, and maybe the zinnia will grow with the ivy. So the reason I chose Nero de Toscana cabbage, also called lacinato kale, it is a more heat tolerant kale than some of the other varieties we carry. So if you are in a warmer climate, like Natasha said, Satan's armpit, I think you called it, the Nero de Toscana cabbage, lacinato kale is a great option for you. For those of you in warmer places like Texas, Florida, for example, definitely check this one out. It's a really good one for you to try. The next one, I have so many awesome varieties to share with you today. Thank you everybody for joining me. If you haven't already, hit the thumbs up, like the video, and share the video. I always like the extra shares. We're going to go on a purple kick here. So this one is Cosmic Purple Carrot. So this is some cosmic stuff. I love purple carrots. They are so much fun. I just found a grow bag that I didn't know that I had planted out there in the wild wilderness of my jungle garden, full of purple potatoes that I'll be harvesting this week. So this one is Cosmic Purple Carrot. From seed to harvest, it is going to take a little while. This says 70 days, but then you're really going to make sure that you've got an extra 15 to 21 days for germination. Courtney says, Mary always has the coolest seeds. Purple is my favorite color. I love purple too. I really like green, but growing up, I liked purple so much that I painted my bedroom purple. 2 different shades of purple, super fun. So Cosmic Purple Carrot is a really good one. Now let me take a little break for just a second and tell you one little tip about carrots. Carrots are notoriously difficult to germinate. The easiest way that I have found to germinate carrots is to take, wherever you're going to plant them, moisten the soil very well. Take your carrots and sprinkle them over the top of the soil. Give them plenty of space because you don't want to overcrowd your carrots. Then put a piece of cardboard down over them. Leave it be. Every 2 days, pull up the cardboard, water it very gently, put the cardboard back. Then once they start to germinate, remove the cardboard completely and keep the soil moist at all times. I have had the best germination rates, the best success with growing carrots from seed using that method. And I've had some people just say, I've tried and tried and tried and nothing's ever worked. And then they try the cardboard method and that works. It doesn't have to be cardboard, but this is really a good one that would be helpful. You plant zinnias in grow bags with your vegetables. Well, that's really good. And that's an option for you. Absolutely. I told you I'm on a purple kick. So I got a couple purple things to share with you here today. For those of you just joining me and commenting, you are automatically entered to win these seeds in the giveaway at the very end. Luann says, thank you for that tip. I'm so glad you guys are joining me. That is a very good one. Mary says, do I wet the cardboard? Yes, you can wet the cardboard. I don't always, but yes, you absolutely can. Let's see, let me look for something real quick here. I am so glad that you guys are joining me. So that is one of the varieties. Joanne says the germination rates of all of your seeds is fantastic. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And the thing is, the germination rates on our carrots are still around 80% or more. The difference is having to kind of work around that would be really helpful. Vanessa says, will straw work to keep the soil moist or enough for carrots? Possibly. I've never used straw, so I'm not really sure. Next on my list, because we're talking about things that you can plant right now and for fall, is Royalty Purple Potted Beans. I love Royalty Purple Potted Beans. They are so easy to grow. They are so very easy to harvest. Tracy, yes, we will be restocking mung beans this weekend, promise. It took me a little longer than I thought, but I will be restocking mung beans this week. So the Royalty Purple Potted Beans are fun. One thing that I've had the feedback from customers is because they're purple, it makes it easier to harvest your beans because they're boom right in your face purple instead of green and kind of mixed in with all the green foliage. These are part of my heirloom bean trio, so that's a plus. And they're ready to harvest from seed to harvest in as few as 56 days. Awesome. The Royalty Purple Potted just tastes like a regular green bean. When you cook it, it actually turns green. So it only stays purple while it's fresh. Yes, Bertha says, I wonder if carrots are sweeter when you grow them yourself. So I will touch on that. Some carrots are sweeter than others, but when you grow them yourself, it's more flavorful. It's less bland. Vanessa says, just planted Royalty Purple this week. So did I. So I mentioned earlier that I planted the white scallop squash for our patty pan squash challenge. And I was asked what else could you plant around it? So I said okra, radish, beans, basil. There's a couple things you can plant around it so that you're not just designating it to one. But the Royalty Purple Potted Bean is a bush bean, yes, and it was perfect to plant around my white scallop squash. So I waited for my patty pans to germinate. They were about 2 inches tall, and then I planted my Royalty Purple Potted Beans. That way, everybody's got a little bit of space, and also they've got room to grow, and now they're growing. So I'm really excited. I had fantastic germination on these. So definitely one of those things to do. Every time I think I'm done harvesting peas or beans for the day, I'm not. So I got one more purple to share with you. And this one was just now added back onto the availability list. Dawn says the purple veggies are so fun to grow with the grandkids. I cannot tell you how many times customers tell me that they are growing it for their kids so that they will eat more different vegetables, because having fun stuff, you know, it makes it fun. Like the dragon's egg cucumbers are my friend's kids' favorite. Like they love the dragon's egg. They'll go outside and just harvest it off the container or off the vine and just eat it right there. And other kids are like, what are you doing? But it works. So if you want to encourage your kids to eat more fun stuff, maybe add some fun, weird stuff that they might like to try. So anyway, so the next one on my list, like I mentioned, is one that has been out of stock for a while, but it's now back and available. And this one is Purple of Sicily cauliflower. So I've got 3 purple specific varieties in my giveaway today that I wanted to share with you. These are super fun. And like I mentioned, this is my 26th live chat on Facebook specific for Heirloom Seeds. This will be my first one that I'll be loading up to Facebook. So you'll see this hopefully, and you can check the replay on Facebook for 30 days. But on YouTube, it won't go away. Fingers crossed. I think I figured it out. All right, so we're going to try a new one that, not a new one, but a different one that maybe you've heard of, maybe you haven't. And this one is called Spring Broccoli RAAB. Now, I love broccoli RAAB. And hey, Gary, that's okay. Welcome. You can always check the replay later on. I love spring broccoli RAAB. I actually was at the farmer's market. If you don't know the history, I had a booth at the Yellow Green Farmer's Market in Hollywood, Florida back in 2012 through 2013. I was there for about 13 months. I loved it. I met so many amazing people. Some of my customers from the Yellow Green Farmer's Market are still customers to this day. And it was definitely an awesome experience. And one of the booths at the farmer's market made a fresh pizza. They made their own dough. They bought the mozzarella from another vendor who also had fresh made mozzarella. If you've never had fresh mozzarella, oh my goodness. And so they had a RAAB, broccoli, and arugula salad, not salad, pizza, and it was delicious. And that was my first foray into broccoli RAAB, and it's pretty much sprouted broccoli, if you want to just share that. Hey Diane, thanks for joining us. So it's not a full head of broccoli. You can eat the leaves, you can eat the stems, and you can eat the sprouts of broccoli RAAB, and they're much smaller. Sometimes you can get a larger stem on your broccoli RAAB, but it's not a full head. So it has like a packed flavor in that small little sprout of broccoli. So if you've never grown spring broccoli RAAB, I highly recommend it. And I've shared, I think I've shared the link for you guys. Yep, I have shared it with you. So that's definitely one for you to try if you haven't already. Fantastic for fall. I know it's July, and I know it's hot as the surface of the sun outside. It's 96 here from what my computer tells me, and it's probably about 106 with the heat index outside. So I'm not outside, obviously, right now. But these are all varieties that you can plant for fall. If I don't know what you planted, Anna, and if it was bitter, there's a couple reasons. It could be just out of season. Lettuce in particular gets bitter when it's too hot outside. So you want to make sure you plant these for fall when it's a lot cooler. Let's see, we have an arugula, turkey bacon, and balsamic pizza. That sounds very interesting. That sounds really good, actually. Hey David, thanks for joining me. With broccoli RAAB, you can harvest multiple times because it's not a single head of lettuce. You can harvest the sprouts, the sprigs, whatever you want to call them, over a period of time. Now, someone asked me about butter crunch lettuce tasting like butter. And I wanted to share one little thing with you that was super fun. This one, Inga might actually really like this one. If you're watching Inga, she's my fellow feral gardener, mostly feral gardener. So this one is called, can you see that? CYLINDRA FORMANOVA BEET. Yum. So CYLINDRA FORMANOVA BEET is a wonderful heirloom from Denmark. It produces a longer cylindrical root, and it is tender and sweet, also known as a butter slicer. So I'm wondering if this one's going to be a more buttery type of beet that maybe you've never encountered before. So if you are looking for something that is, quote, buttery, I want to encourage you to try CYLINDRA FORMANOVA beet, because I'm going to be growing this as well, and I'm going to plant several different varieties of beets so that I can do a taste test of all of them. I often have people ask me, well, what does it taste like? I'm like, well, it's a green bean. It tastes like a green bean. But then it's like, well, if you compare this green bean to this green bean, you might be able to have a better idea of what one tastes over the other. But I don't always do that because I just don't. So, for example, I planted jade bush beans, I planted Cherokee wax beans, and tender green beans. And I tried all three of them at the same time. I tried them raw and I tried them cooked. Hands down, jade bush beans are still my favorite. So if you're looking for the best green bean that I carry at Mary's Heirloom Seeds, arguably, it's going to be jade bush beans. Some people say Blue Lake bush beans are better, but I will say, hands down, jade bush beans. It is a fantastic producer, prolific producer, delicious. You can harvest it smaller, you can harvest it larger, still delicious and not stringy. So if you're looking for it, it's not on my list of varieties today, but definitely check out jade bush beans. It is a staple in my garden. I will never not grow jade bush beans. So the CYLINDRA FORMANOVA was what I mentioned today. This is going to be a buttery beet that you might try in your garden. Some people like beets, some people don't like beets. My husband refuses to eat beets because he says they taste like dirt. I like the earthy flavor of beets. It doesn't taste like dirt to me. It tastes like a beet. But I will say this, if I cook it up with salt, pepper, onions, and garlic, he'll eat it. A little bit, not a lot. So yeah, if you haven't already, definitely try jade bush beans. It's definitely one to check out. You definitely want to try it. Alrighty, so next on my list is another good fall variety. And I don't know if you've ever heard of it before, and I don't know if you've ever tried it before, but this one is giant golden PASCAL celery. So this one takes a fairly long time to mature. So if you don't have the time, it's okay. I do like to give you plenty of time to try these things if that's something that you want. So I'm going to look up here real quick what the actual dates are. This one is 115 days. It can also get 2 feet tall. Have you ever grown celery that's 2 feet tall? Let's see. I've always hated canned beets growing up. How does a fresh one compare to canned? Joanne, hands down, there is no comparison. Homegrown beets, you can eat them raw, you can eat them cooked, you can shred them and eat them raw, or you can just slice them up. My favorite way to eat beets, not necessarily pickled, is like chop them up into pieces. I put onions, garlic, salt, pepper, and I cook it in olive oil. A small amount in a container, mix it all up, heat it up, cook it, not to where the beets are mushy, but to where the beets are softer, and it is delicious. They're sweet, they're fresh, and they're nothing like the canned beets. My mom won't eat beets either because she grew up on canned beets, and if you've never eaten fresh beets, it is definitely something that you should try. And the cool thing about beets, I will say this too, is you don't have to eat the roots. If you find out that you don't like beets, you can eat the greens. So the great thing about beets, it's beets and Swiss chard are in the same family. So you can grow the beets and harvest the greens and just eat the greens if you want. And if you don't like the roots, leave them in the ground, let them rot, and they will add organic matter to your soil. It's a really good way to break up clay soil if you haven't done that before. Let's see, Michelle says, can I just wash the beets before I eat them, or do I need to do anything else before eating? You can actually, some people remove the outside. I don't. The skin, I will just chop them the way it is. But I do try to scrub them very well because there's crevices and I don't necessarily like eating dirt. I want to keep the dirt flavor away since that's the common issue my husband has with beets. So just scrub them really well. And like I said, you can cook them up fresh. You can eat them chopped, sliced, grated. Grated over salad is fantastic. The greens taste like chard, yes, because they're in the same family. They're similar to chard. You can substitute like spinach, like Quack Quack Farm says, great spinach substitute. Exactly, absolutely. And they're a little more heat tolerant than some some spinach varieties. So just throwing that out there at you. And yes, to answer your question, celery is fairly frost tolerant, not totally frost tolerant, but yes. Giant golden PASCAL celery is a French heirloom variety. According to long time information, it is the celery to grow, so it's a really good one. Peggy says beets are good roasted with other root vegetables. Yep, there you go. I scrub them similar to potatoes because they're a root. So yeah, just get the dirt off and eat it. A little bit of dirt probably never hurt anybody, so I mean, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, we probably ate dirt too, so not the end of the world. Alrighty, I'm gonna change gears here real quick, and I'm gonna share a squash variety that you still have time to plant. And this is a fun one, and this one is golden crookneck squash, a fast maturing yellow crookneck squash. And I can't tell you how many times this week I have seen in different Facebook groups asking, what's wrong with my squash? And I look at it and I'm like, that's normal. A yellow crookneck squash looks warty. That's totally normal. It's not generally smooth like a zucchini is. So this is ready to harvest in 50 to 55 days. So the crookneck squash is one that you can still probably plant right now and still harvest before winter time. And it is fairly heat tolerant, so you can still plant these right now. And like Sandy says, it's a great squash. It's fairly versatile. Chop it and cook it just like you would a regular zucchini. So the golden crookneck squash is definitely one on my list that I am going to be planting again. I planted it really early in the season, had a fantastic crop, bugs got it, I pulled them all out, and now I'm ready to harvest, I'm ready to plant again. So I also wanted to share with you some, I'm going to skip that one for tonight, basil you can still plant, which is kind of fun. I posted on Facebook the other day about different basil varieties and what you like to do with them. This one is called lime basil. And so I have a bunch of different varieties of basil. For those of you just joining me, my Facebook Lives, I can share the links in the comments while I'm live, which is super fun. And this is the first video that I will be downloading and resharing to my YouTube channel. So this is number 26 on Facebook, and this will be number 1 on YouTube. So if you haven't already, like the video, share the video. I always appreciate it. And I love to share new stuff. This whole Facebook Live series started because I was thinking to myself, at Mary's Heirloom Seeds, we offer over 1,000 varieties of heirloom seeds, and I'm sure there's a lot of varieties that people have never even heard of. Lime basil is an heirloom variety that is approximately 60 days from seed. It is very closely related to the lemon basil. It's not necessarily the best for pesto. I would recommend an Italian variety like Genovese or sweet large leaf basil. And then I actually don't have a recipe for beet and horseradish relish, but I'll look that up. I don't like horseradish, so I generally shy away from those. The lime basil originates from Thailand. It can grow about 2 feet tall, and it's zesty with a citrus aroma. I love, love, love lime basil tea. So I love making basil tea of all types, but the lime basil tea was definitely a favorite this year. So I'm definitely gonna, I'm not gonna plant more because I already have so much more I can barely harvest right now, but I'm definitely gonna make some more lime basil tea this weekend because I've got a bunch of it and it's ready to go. You can actually harvest the flowers of the basil and use those for tea. You can harvest the leaves, you can harvest the stems, you can literally use top to bottom minus the roots for your basil tea. I've used stems and it's still fantastic. So there are so many uses for basil that maybe you didn't think about. And there's also a bunch of different varieties of basil. So if you haven't already checked them out, definitely check it out. Now I've got one more that I want to share with you, and this one is a more heat tolerant radish. This one is German giant radish. Maybe I should do another, the radish challenge was fun, but I want to do something different for next year. So I'm going to share the link for the German giant radish. This one I grew in California, and I was saving it for seed, and the actual root was 2 feet long. No joke. But it was massive, and it was not edible by the time I harvested it, but I was growing it for seed. So if you don't know about radishes, because it was so heat tolerant, it didn't bolt as fast as some of the other varieties, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I was harvesting some of the pods and harvesting the seeds for it, but the root kept growing and growing and growing. Yes, German giant radish is hot. For the most part, all of the varieties of radish that I carry are hot. I would say that the French breakfast radish is the least spicy of them because it's a breakfast radish. But pretty much most of the radish varieties I carry are hot. If you're looking for something that is not hot, that's a root crop, I would recommend a turnip. I love purple top, white globe turnip. They are delicious, they're easy, you can eat them raw, you can eat them cooked, and they're not spicy like a radish. So, to recap, today we are doing a giveaway of all of the seed varieties that I shared with you. Inga says, can you harvest pods, greens, and dry them out on the counter for seeds? Yes, you can. Absolutely. So my Facebook Live. Oh, Sandy says, I like a spicy radish. Me too. I love spicy radishes. So all these seeds will go in the giveaway. I have shared links in the comments while I'm live here. Oh, there's Danny. And for my YouTube videos, you can always check out the replay at a later time. For tonight, I also have the, this is called a bulk coconut coir brick. And then I also have a 25-gallon grow bag that will be included with the giveaway tonight. You can always catch the replay, no problem. But I also wanted to, before I get a chance, I'm going to show you here, just to show you, if you missed it in the beginning, the comparison. If you're looking for the best value for your money on coconut coir, don't buy these small bricks. They're great if you only need a small amount, but the cost with 2 of these compared to 1 of these, you get 2 of these, it's about 5 gallons, okay? 1 of these is 17 to 20 gallons. So you get a better value with these. And yes, I know, I sell both, but I also want to share with you the best option or the best value for your money. Nick says salad turnips are not hot and have a nice flavor. Exactly. That's why I recommend a turnip if you don't like something spicy. And Danny finally decided to join me after all this time, and now I'm going to be done. I think she just likes this. Even my cat likes seeds. Alrighty, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. I will pick a winner after my live chat. I wanted to share with you one thing. The Prep for Fall discount code is still available through July 31st, 2025. That will save you 20% off everything in my fall collection. If you have questions, send me an email. My email is mary@marysheirloomseeds.com, and I do answer your emails. The Kelly Green shirts are now available. The Rust shirts are now available, and I will have the Cardinal Red shirts available. I think they're going to be printed on Friday. So that is it. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll go ahead and pick a winner as soon as I'm done here. Thank you everyone so much for joining me, and happy planting.